All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to zero in on mastering the ethics part of your state insurance exam. Look, this isn't just about memorizing rules, okay? This is about building the foundation for a career people can actually trust. So, let's cut the fluff and get you ready to pass.
Okay, so let's start with a situation you will absolutely face. Picture this. You're with an elderly client. They trust you. They want to buy a policy. But you know deep down it's not the best fit for them. The catch? This one pays you a way bigger commission. So, what do? The state exam is built to make sure you know the one and only right answer to that question.
Here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to hammer home the #1 rule: always solve for the client. Then we'll get into the huge difference between ethics and the law. After that, we'll hit the terminology vault for some key definitions. I'll show you exactly how to spot and dodge exam traps, and then we'll wrap it all up with a super fast 60-second recap.
All right, let's dive into Section 1. You remember that tough question I just threw at you? Well, the answer isn't just about getting a point on your exam. It's literally the foundation your entire career is going to be built on.
This right here, this is it. This is the golden rule. Your main job, your #1 duty, is to act in the best interest of your client, always. I mean it. No exceptions, no what-ifs. On your test and in the real world, this is the compass that has to guide every single move you make.
So let's build on that idea. Section 2, ethics versus the law. Now, it's easy to think they're the same thing, but they're not. And you can bet the exam is going to test you on this difference. It's what I call the floor and the ceiling of how you should behave as a professional.
Here's the easiest way to think about it. Legal compliance, that's the floor. It's the absolute bare minimum you have to do to keep your license and avoid getting sued. But ethics, ethics is the ceiling. That's the higher standard. That's about what you should do. Acting with real fairness and honesty. The law just keeps you in the game. Ethics is what lets you win it.
And boom, here's your first exam alert. Listen up. I can promise you, you're going to get a question that tries to blur this line between what's legally required and what's ethically right. You have to know the difference cold. The law is what you must do. Ethics is what you ought to do. All right, time for a little rapid-fire session. Welcome to the Terminology Vault. These are the exact terms you need to have down for the exam. This isn't optional, folks. It's totally essential.
First up, fiduciary duty. And yeah, this one is the big one. This is your legal and ethical duty to put your client's needs way ahead of your own. Think of it like a doctor. A good doctor has to prescribe the medicine that's best for the patient, right? Not the one that makes the hospital the most money. In this business, you are that doctor for your client's financial future.
Next term, conflict of interest. This is basically any time your personal interests could get in the way of giving objective advice. The exam loves to test this, and your #1 defense, both on the test and in real life, is always transparency and full disclosure. If there's even a chance of a conflict, you tell the client, period.
And finally, client confidentiality. You have to treat this as sacred. You have a duty, both legal and ethical, to keep your client's information totally private. This is the bedrock of trust. You break this, and it doesn't just damage the relationship, it absolutely destroys it. And the exam questions on this, they are very, very strict.
Okay, so you know the words, but just knowing the definitions, that's not going to cut it. The real test is seeing how the exam writers try to trick you with confusing wording and wrong answers that sound, well, kind of right. So let's talk about how to dodge these traps. Take a look at this question on your screen. This is a classic exam trap. You have confidential info about a client's health. When is it okay to share it without their permission? Notice the options: asking a colleague for help, getting the client a better rate, a family member asking. They're all designed to sound helpful, right? That is the trap.
So here's how you dismantle this. The trap is making the wrong choices seem reasonable, but the logic is crystal clear. A, B, and C are all major violations of confidentiality. The rule is simple and absolute. You never ever share client information without their explicit consent. That means the only right answer here is D, none of the above.
And here we go, another exam alert, and this is a big one. Anytime you see a question that's fishing for an exception to a core rule like confidentiality or your fiduciary duty, a red flag should go up. The right answer is almost always the one that holds up the highest ethical standard. Don't let them trick you into picking a helpful but unethical choice.
Now, check out this table for other common traps. Handling premiums. They might have an answer that says something like, it's okay to temporarily mix client funds with your own. Wrong. The answer is never. Client funds go into a separate trust account, always.
Describing policies, the trick is to tempt you to only talk about the good stuff. That's misrepresentation. You have to be accurate and complete. And with vulnerable clients, you never ever make a decision for them. You help them make an informed decision.
Okay, deep breath. We've gone over a ton. It's time to lock it all in place. This is your 60-second recap, the 3 things you absolutely must remember for exam day and for your whole career. Ready? Let's do it.
3 things. Let's go.
Number 1, your client's interest comes first. It's more important than your commission, your sales goals, anything. That's what fiduciary duty is all about.
Number 2, the law is just the floor. It's the bare minimum. Your real goal should be the ceiling, operating with the highest ethical standards of what's right and fair.
And number 3, if you are ever in doubt, just disclose it. Transparency is your best friend when it comes to conflicts of interest. The smartest, safest, and most ethical move is always to be open and honest.
So, there you have it. That's the ethical framework you need to know to pass your exam. But the real question, the one that matters long after you pass, is this. Now that you know the rules, how are you going to build a career that isn't just successful, but one that is truly fundamentally trustworthy? That's the real test. Now go ace that exam.